Okay, this is a short video on making basically a mount so that I can mount this microscope, USB microscope, onto the CNC around this sort of spindle area, right? So basically what I've got there is a gear wrench drive gimbal ratchet, right? So I've taken the ratchet out, it's just held on with torque screws, and I've created just out of plywood, 15 mil birch ply in this case, because that's what I had lying around. I've created a mount where the ratchet used to be. Okay, so it's basically around a 25 millimeter circle of plywood. I just used a hole saw to cut that was roughly the right size. It doesn't have to be exactly 25 mil. It might actually be better if it's a little smaller, depending on how, the diameter of the microscope you're trying to use, right? The idea being here that the gimbal is going to make it easy to position the microscope no matter where your end mill is, like if you're using a long or a short end mill. So you've cut out your 25 mil um, piece of ply or whatever you use, and then you're putting a second hole just straight into the center, and that's the diameter of whatever scope you're using. I'll put a link to the scope I have. It's old. You might not be able to get it anymore. It has a 12 mil diameter. It works fine. It has small sort of LEDs in the end of it there near where the camera is. It's a bit of a pain to focus, and it also doesn't work out of the box in Linux. It has a quirk with the UVC driver. Again, it just means loading a few command line things into Linux, and it comes up just fine. So you can see here, you've got, the ability to sort of to move in two axes or two axes, and that's going to be super useful, right? Okay, so we've got it all in the gimbal, and basically it's time for mounting it. We're using a worm drive hose clamp. This is allowing us to basically just drill a hole through the hose clamp and into whatever you're trying to fix it to. In my case, it's the dust shoe. So once you've done that, you're sort of good to go with installing that into Linux CNC. So I'm using GMOCCAPY. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it. And for that, you can sort of see that we add these lines into the any file and that the display section, and that then gives us this output and tab on your Linux CNC application panel. That's about it, everybody. If you enjoy these videos, please sort of like and subscribe.